welcome to an overview of the clock I built for the GertLUG members challenge for March, which was a technical challenge. So you had to involve technical elements, and in this we've got the axles, the gears and motors and all that sort of stuff to make the clock work. And it's been lovingly decorated in this sort of mock oriental style case. Again, it has Lego, so we have a black base, a black roof and a white body with some gold highlights for the corners and the top here. So to actually drive the mechanism, we'll actually go around the back first, and we have a power functions rechargeable battery box, which at the moment is set to the maximum output, so that when I turn the clock around to the front and energize it, you will actually be able to see the mechanism going. But normally this is set to speed step 1, and that conveniently gives out a nice output at the start, which we'll talk about in a second. This then drives via this cable this old 9-volt heavy motor. This is the heavy version, not the light one. It's the older model, I believe, and it does the job perfectly fine. And this cable here isn't actually a motor cable, it's actually just an extension cable, because these extension cables, the light grey, which is actually buried underneath all this white, is actually a 9-volt connector underneath, and that actually connects with the motor. So that actually goes around, loop around one of the axles, then feeds into here, and it's all coiled up at the bottom at the front for the extra. So rotating this back round to the front, you can sort of see some of the cross axles here, and it's obviously mirrored on the other side. So obviously from the side you can actually see that that second here is actually straight off the motor, and at speed set 1 on the battery box, the motor gives us a nice 1 rotation per second output. So this is actually a second hand, because every rotation is a second. Then through this set of gears, we actually take a 60:1 reduction off the second axle to give us a minute axle. So this minute axle rotates every 60 seconds, 60 of the second arm rotations. And then above this, and more buried, because the motor forces the minute gear set forward, we then have this space above the motor at the back, which means we can hide all the gears for the hour axle behind all the plastic. So we have an hour here, which is a 60:1 reduction off the minute axle. So we have a 60:1 here, and then another 60:1 here, which means that we have, if my maths serves me correctly, a 3600 reduction between here and here. So quite conveniently there's a 60:1 reduction. Now obviously if this was going to be proper, what you would actually have is, you wouldn't actually have this as an output, you'd actually have this, and this would then be rotating once every 60 seconds. So this would be your normal second hand in a clock. And then obviously what we would then have as well is that this would then be, I think, so if that's now your second, yes, this would then be your minute. So this would then go round, in Calabria. Voila. So yeah, it's a reasonably complex build. I'll just see if I can take the roof off and hopefully not ruin the entirety of the build. But I did build this reasonably sturdy. So as you can see, the roof has come off. It's slightly hollow. And then if I take off this Technic piece, which is actually keeping everything neat and tidy, you can actually see the inside and all the gearing, and you can quite clearly see all the hour mechanism here, and it's all driving off this one here. So it's all very neatly ordained. This just goes here. So reassembled now, and what we'll do is we'll energize the mechanism. So as you can see, we have the second rotation, or it's supposed to be a minute rotation, and then very slowly the hour rotation. And this is why I've configured the clock like this rather than as you would a normal clock, because to be honest with you, you're not really going to see this at the correct rate of rotation. But you can actually see the gears, so it's actually quite a nice look. And then at correct 1 rotation per second speed. Quite noisy, isn't it? So anyway, that's the clock, and hopefully you've enjoyed the rather informative video, and that's it from this little piece of technical wizardry. So that's it from now, and see you later.